Randy, I'm tempted to start from the less important, issues, but which nonetheless may have some critical impact. Yesterday was the first outing of Mr. Alan Kojo Chematin.
Alright, Abusia, my main fan na se kese mfiri Mega TV aso ye mfa ma obi bia woti Mega TV. Na ohwe news abre nyina. Abusia meso se ne na your first time fa unsa bo subscribe button no so wadawro ma yesra papa na bo modina fa unsa ka notification bell no se be ya abre nyina no ye the news update tuma. Abusia wonso unsa be kan na wa get in touch what you say. Na we read the news akenkan ama conversation bia fa ye channel ho nsa betimi akabi ama na ye fefefe abusia wa unim agenda e 2023 NPP mo aye hot what you say esan say omo flag bearership no aye heated alancho mantin wom yanka say vice president ene Agyapong na Afriyie Akoto mo kika ho we na ama Kwesi Pratt what you say Kwesi Pratt Junior wadi nsimbi abetudwa ono de wachire omo a omo ye likely to win what you say waka nsimbi bre na busia me ya to audio no so na answer na ebeto aso mo aka chiro misro papa bo modina na fa wonsaka subscribe button no uwia na watachi notification bell no ade na bebo ma abre na brain na no ubenya in touch na ye news e de beto wonso wonye bia kinkan ma ho to yenko ti nsema oditudwa.
Yeah, Randy, I'm tempted to start from the less important, issues, but which nonetheless may have some critical impact. Yesterday was the first outing of Mr. Alan Kojo Chematin, first formal outing as a presidential aspirant. And I think that his handlers should have done a better job than they did yesterday. I mean, I'm just watching him on television, and the image is not good. It doesn't show that they did a lot of, they took due care in the presentation. You have him standing in front of a background which is made up of white, blue, red, gold, green colors. And he's wearing a multicolored shirt. And that's terrible. Yes, sir. In terms of PR and so on, the image he presents is not a very good one.
Your word for today, aesthetics.
So I think that his handlers could have done a much better job.
Right.
Now, the impact of the mixture of colors, including the shirt he wore and so on, is that he emerges as a tired person. He looks tired. He looks haggard and so on. I think he could have done a better presentation, He could have displayed a lot more confidence, He's presented as somebody who is not reading a script. But the flow suggests that there's a script. You understand? And this is just from the PR angle. It's not one of the most important things, but he's going to go into a very tough contest. And I think it's important to watch all of these things. Now, the other thing that Mr. Chematin has to worry about is the fact that he's been a cabinet minister in this administration for 6 years. And he's not just been a cabinet minister in this administration for 6 years, he's also been a member of the economic management team. So distancing himself from what has been done leading to this crisis is going to be a tall order for him. And yesterday, he made the admission that some things could have been done better. I think that's a very sensible admission to make. But it's a very tall order, I know him quite well. His strong point is that he's well composed as an individual. When you encounter him, he comes out as a very mature politician. He doesn't come out as a rabid, politician. He has friends everywhere. He has a general disposition which is very pleasing and so on. I think these are strong points that you can rely on. Again, since I got to know him in 1991 or thereabout, he has presented himself as a person who is for innovation of policy innovation. And if you listen to him yesterday, it struck you as somebody who is for policy innovation. Except that it kept coming up all the time. I mean, the link with the last 6 years keeps coming up all the time. He wants to talk about industrialization, and yet he must put in the one district, one factory thing, which is totally unnecessary. If he didn't have the baggage that he has, perhaps that is not how he would have done it. Because of course, all of us do know that what has come out as one district, one factory is an enterprise support program. It's not an industrialization policy. Okay. But because of his links with this administration over the last 6 years, he's had to go back and repeat some of this.
So this is what he said.
Yeah.
On industrial transformation, he says this will build on the success of government's 10-point industrial transformation program, including the one district, one factory initiative, the establishment of strategic anchor industries to diversify the economy beyond cocoa and gold, example, the automobile assembly, garment and textiles, pharmaceuticals and petrochemical industry, enhancing the growth and development of small and medium enterprises, establishment of industrial parks and special economic zones, and supporting domestic retail trade and distribution.
Yeah. So those are the problems that he's going to encounter. Now, there's also a very big question. There's a really big question about process. And I'm happy that my friend, Honorable Collins, has started on that part. Big question about process. The new arrangement, I think, is even a constitutional arrangement in the new Patriotic Party.
Those amendments after the 17 contested.
Exactly. Is that they will present to Congress 5 candidates.
Yes.
Or 5 aspirants.
Yes.
And that if at the end of nominations there are more than 5 persons, then there will be the Super Congress, which will reduce the number down to 5. Now here's the trick, and listen to me carefully. You can have a Super Congress which overwhelmingly votes for one candidate who can lose at the General Congress.
Oh, of course. Of course, of course.
I hope you understand what I'm
There's
saying.
that possibility.
It is possible.
But what the reason why
Can I finish?
that possibility too is not something that can easily happen is that the super delegates, like myself, members of parliament, constituency chairman, regional chairman, if you come to the base, we virtually have a certain control over the delegates.
But that is not true. That is not true. You know that's
for
not
that
true.
one.
I'm going
I'm
saying what you're saying is possible.
So let me ask 2 questions
It is
before you go
possible.
on. Collins, 2 questions. Of what percentage of the delegates at Congress will the Super Congress delegates
I've not
constitute?
done the calculation, but it will be less than 20%.
Less than 20%
Yes, I think
of the
so.
total?
Of the total.
Okay.
It will be less than.
Secondly, in choosing the 5, will it be done in the order of highest votes? Will you be declaring who has the highest,
Yes.
first, second, third,
Yes.
fourth,
Yes.
fifth?
Yes.
So there will be positions?
Yes, there will be positions.
Okay.
Yes,
Right.
there would be.
That's exactly the point I'm
There will
making about how this process can turn out
Yes.
to be most unfair.
And the only example we have is the Nana Danko Akufo-Addo's then candidate Akufo-Addo. We know we had one in 2016 or so.
There were more than 5?
Yes, there was one. We had one delegate, and Nana got around 93% or something of that sort. Even with that, the super delegates. Yes, there's something like that. Yes, so there's an example.
Okay. But what I'm saying simply is that it is possible to win at the Super Delegates Congress and lose at the General Congress. In the realm of possibility.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. Of course.
So the Super Delegates Conference can create a false impression. It can clearly create a false impression. Okay. Now, it is even possible for somebody not to make the 5, not to make the list of 5, who, if presented to a General Congress, may become the winner.
But he will not have the opportunity.
Yes.
You will not have the opportunity.
You will not have the opportunity.
You'll be denied the opportunity.
Yes.
I think this is an important point to make.
I think
Now-
that's an important point.
It's an important point
Yeah.
to
So
make.
the grassroots might want that person, but the super delegate might deny him the opportunity to even face the grassroots.
Exactly.
I think that's a good point.
Exactly. You know.
Yeah,
and
I think
then,
that's a good point. That's a deficiency of the process.
This your claim that you MPs and regional chairmen and so on have influence. It's not true. In just your last election of officers, what happened?
The dynamics are different. The dynamics are totally different. They are totally different. They are different. They are different.
Okay. You will show us how the dynamics are different.
The dynamics are different.
When the vast majority of regional chairmen publicly declared their support for a candidate and the candidate lost. I mean, that undermines the claim that you who constitute the super delegates have some influence, which is an executive.
There's a difference, you know. The dynamics are different.
What is clear, however,
yes,
is that the super delegates will be made up mostly of persons who are in the government machinery. And I do not exclude MPs. You understand? MPs are in the government machinery. Many MPs are ministers and deputy ministers to start with. MPs, by their very nature, have to deal with the Flagstaff House. There's a certain relationship between MPs and Flagstaff House. Understand that district chief executives will be super delegates, would they? They are beholden to the Flagstaff House, and so on and so forth. You understand? Currently, from what I'm learning, the party does not generate its own resources for managing its affairs. A large part of the funds available for running the party and so on comes from persons in the executive and so on. So all of this will play, you know, in the dynamics. So, and that is why the Super Delegates Conference will not be a true reflection, true reflection of the will of the masses of that party. Okay. And I think it's important to note that right from this stage.